Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Greetings to all viewers watching me now. I salute you, for you have been part of this show from day one, and we keep moving. This platform offers you challenging and stimulating engagement on local politics, economy, travel, cultural and social development, and scientific reports. Also, we engage leaders, professionals, and academics for mentoring and decision-making. Remember that this show embraces integration and diversity and encourages viewers that value self-expression. Let's get talking. Let's discuss something. Let's have a final voice seeking restoration of our land. Let's have a voice seeking success of Ghana, success that we can share with the rest of the world. Be my guest today. I am your host. I am Charles Opoku. Today, we look at something interesting. In Ghana, the spotlight is on Ghana's constitution. We take a look at some articles that give power to the people of Ghana. But Ghanaians eventually are ripped off of this power of freedom that we deserve. By a literal interpretation, we take a look at articles 8, 9, 90, 91, and 92. These provisions allow Ghanaians to elect people as Council of State members. And the same provisions allow or enjoins the president to appoint people as Council of State members. The president appointment is statutory. We leave the legal side of this argument to the lawyers or judiciary, but we are going by a literal interpretation of the Constitution. So you can leave your argument in the comment section. You can subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share as we move on. Now, do you know that after Ghanaians go to the polls to elect people to go and offer some good advice to the president, the same constitution enjoins the president to appoint a certain number of people to be part of the council. And this number of people exceeds those that we go to the polls to elect. Do you know that the president appoints 11 people when Ghana had 10 regions? Now we have 16 regions. So the same constitution should make some way for the president to appoint 17 people or above. Now His Excellency of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, would like to appoint a certain number of people to be part of the Council of State. And therefore, he is seeking for amendment of Article 93 to allow him appoint a certain number of people. You can read from here. That is this one, rather. President Akufo-Addo backbench tussle imminent over Council of State appointment. That is the president and the Speaker of Parliament are in a tussle as to which number he should appoint and how many he should appoint. The Ghana president needs people to counsel him, we know. And we know people can offer him good advice. Because he himself admits that people should come in there and advise him, offer him good counsel. But do you know, dear viewer, that at the Council of State meetings, the majority rule or majority decides? So if you have a constitution that allows the same president to appoint a certain number of people whose numbers exceed those that will go to the polls to elect, then where is Ghana's democracy? Where is your freedom as a Ghanaian? Where is your power as a Ghanaian? You go to the polls to elect somebody, to go and offer some good advice to the president, and the same constitution allows the president to appoint some numbers that exceed those that you go to the polls to elect. These are the issues that we need to look at as a people moving forward. Again, do you know that a question for decision by the Council of State can only be proposed or determined by the majority? This is the case. So once the Constitution gives power to the president to appoint more people than those that we go to the polls to elect, the president has a majority rule at the Council of State. We know the system that we have as a people, as a nation. Are you aware that the Council of State can only consider a bill or propose amendment to a bill passed by Parliament if only the president asks them to do so? I say this again. Are you aware that the Council of State can consider a bill or propose amendment to a bill passed by Parliament if the president so requests? The phrase here is if the president so requests. So the people that you go to the polls to elect to go and offer some good advice cannot even propose an amendment to a bill or consider a bill unless the president advises or tells them to do so. So who is the advisor here? Your Council of State members or the president? Are you aware that till date, the Council of State meetings are supposed to be in camera? It means you cannot watch your chief advisors take a decision. But today, Ghana's parliament proceedings is on Facebook. Not only in Ghana, you can go to the US, UK, House of Commons or Parliament or whatever. We have all these bodies On social media, people know what they're doing. But the same constitution tells you and I that the Council of State should have their meetings in camera unless they decide not to be in camera. So if a whole parliament is now on Facebook, if other institutions are now on social media, why can't we have our chief advisors on camera so we can know what they say and what decision that they take as a council? Let's be clear on some facts or some issues. As I earlier said, you can leave your legal comment or legal argument in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like and share the videos. When we have these things as a country, when we have these provisions enshrined in the Constitution, there is a high possibility of the president not having any good advice. When you appoint people to advise you, and the number that you appoint exceeds those that we go to the polls to elect, taking note of the system that we have in Ghana, you and I should be bold to say that there is a high possibility of the president not having any or getting any good advice. And at this point, whoever is in office or whoever is in charge could only have a council of Ahithophel. The kind of advice that person will have will not be so different from the counsel that Ahithophel gave Absalom, because you appoint your own advisors, a number that exceeds those that really go to the polls to elect. This is the case in here. There is no democracy. The big question is, was this provision, were these provisions made to protect the president? These provisions do not protect the Ghanaian. You know, when you read the articles, you know that they are not in there to even give power to the Ghanaian, to give freedom to the Ghanaian. Because after you have gone to the polls to elect people, the same constitution enjoins your president to appoint a number that exceeds those that you go to the polls to elect. So where is your freedom? You have no power after the polls. So some of these provisions were only made to protect or to shield the president of Ghana, not only the incumbent, but those who are yet to come. We are aware that advice is moral. Advice is never legal. Therefore, an advice is not binding. Counsel is not binding. So the Council of State can make a decision, can advise the president, but whatever they say is not binding. That is why you have a whole provision telling you that the Council of State can consider a bill or propose amendment to a bill passed by Parliament if the president so requests. Because at the end of the day, it will take the president to append his signature or her signature on the bill to be passed as a law. So what is the body, we have as a Council of State? What is the role? What is the duty? We have fine chiefs, very nice people, gentlemen, businessmen, who go in there as Council of State members. But at the end of the day, the same provisions might not or may not allow them carry out the duty that we want them to perform. The same constitution will not allow them, because advice is only moral and not legal. It's not binding. And we still have these provisions in our constitution as a country that believes in democracy or that practices democracy. At this point, you know, or you'll be aware, you agree with me. You agree with me that the Council of State is not a body to even question the president or direct the system. Because your advice is only moral and not binding. Dear viewer, it is worthy to note that the president appoints people and still present them to other bodies or councils. So what is the benefit or what is the essence or relevance of Council of State? For example, if the president wants to make any appointment to, let's say, a teacher, if the president wants to appoint a teacher, he refers the person to Ghana Education Council. If it's a judge, he refers, or whoever is in office must refer that person to the Judiciary Council. If it's a police officer or IGP, the Police Council comes in here. So another question we ask is, then what is the role of the Council of State? The president must refer or take advice from the Judiciary or the Police Council or the Education Council when he appoints some of these people. So what is the role of the Council of State? We ask again, what is the relevance of Council of State if the president has access to economic advisory team, to health advisory team, security advisory team, peace council, Christian council, Muslim council, presidential staffers, over 1,000 people in there as staffers. The cabinet is already there for the president. So what do we need a Council of State for at this point in our lives as Ghanaians? Because the Council of State is to counsel the president on some matters. They are supposed to advise the president. But the president has access to the Council of State, Christian Council, Muslim Council, Economic Advisory Team, Security Advisory Team, Health Advisory Team, and what have you. So what is the main importance of Council of State at this point in time as Ghanaians? Let's engage our president and have some discussion with our president, the first gentleman of the land. With the greatest respect, Mr. President, the Council of State, as it stands, does not have or was not made to have any binding powers per the provisions that we have in the Constitution. The Council of State does not have and was not made to have any binding powers like the Privy Council of UK. The Privy Council of UK has binding powers. But in Ghana, the Council of State does not have that power. So what is the relevance of the whole Council of State if what they will say or what they do is not binding on you? Mr. President, the law says that the Council of State or the provisions that allow us to have Council of State is not entrenched. So we can amend Article 93 or 93 and do the right thing. What can we do as a nation or as a people moving forward? Mr. President, could Ghanaians elect more people than those that you appoint? We ask a very simple question. Can Ghanaians elect more people? Can we have a provision? Can we review the Constitution? Can we amend the Constitution and make sure that Ghanaians go to the polls and elect more people or a number of people that exceeds those that you appoint? We know you make statutory appointment, no twist about it. But can't we also have a college that allows Ghanaians to elect people, a number that will exceed what you may appoint? We can expand the college that elect the Council of State members to have a true representation of the people. Because if 16 regions elect people to go and offer some good advice, but at the end of the day, the same Constitution enjoins the president to appoint a certain number of people that exceeds that we elect, then we did nothing at the polling station. The people do not have power. There's no freedom. There is no true democracy. So can we make some amendments? Can we review the Constitution and make sure that we elect more people than what you appoint as a president? Mr. President, others argue that until we have a true representation of the people, we cannot have a second chamber. Until we have a true representation of the people, we cannot have a second chamber as a nation. If the cardinal principle of having a second chamber as a nation is by having a true representation of the people, then we are good to go, Mr. President. What are we waiting for? We have the House of Chiefs, Mr. President. The National House of Chiefs is a true representation of the people. The National House of Chiefs already adjudicate on matters, and after the adjudication, it will take the Supreme Court to set aside or overturn that ruling. So why can't we empower the National House of Chiefs as a second chamber? We scrap off the Council of State, which does not have any binding powers, which only make advice or counsel you, which is not binding, because advice is moral and not binding. But if we can have a body like the Privy Council of UK to make some checks and balances or carry out some checks and balances for us as a people, that will be good for us, Mr. President. This will be called a true democracy. So we scrap off the Council of State and empower the National House of Chiefs, because they already have powers to adjudicate. And after the National House of Chiefs adjudicate on a matter or pass a ruling, whether on chieftaincy issues or whatever, it takes the Supreme Court, or it will take only the Supreme Court to overturn or set aside such a ruling. So if we already have such a body, why can't we empower such a body and make it a chamber Because the National House of Chiefs is a true representation of the people in Ghana. Let's have a body which will be at par with Parliament or will be above Parliament to carry out checks and balances for us as a people. The chiefs are already custodians of the land that we call Ghana. Chiefs already own the land that we call Ghana. So why can't we empower the chiefs? I'm very sure that chiefs will not allow wrong deals. Our chiefs will not allow any shady deals to be passed or to be accepted. So why can't we have a body like the National House of Chiefs as a whole second chamber to carry out checks and balances, to have some powers, to subpoena people, to even question the president on some matters or some issues. Mr. President, what about NALAC? We already have DCs and MCs. The DCs and the MCs are true representation of the people. They represent the people at the local level. People go in there to elect these people. Why can't we expand the college that elect the DCs and the MCs and make NALAC a second chamber? As it stands, DCs and MCs already make bylaws or regulations that do not go to Parliament, but they are binding on the people at the local level. So if we already have a body that already make laws or regulations that are binding at the local level, why can't we empower such a body? Why can't we make a whole amendment or review and make such a body a second chamber? NALAC as a second chamber can make uniform laws that will go a long way to impact the people at the local level. It will have a positive influence on the people at the local level. NALAC or the MCs or the DCs are a true representation of the people at the local level. Let's empower such a body. As it stands, NALAC is not a constitutional body. NALAC is just like CHAS or IPAC or NAT. The people that the president appoints have a body called NALAC, but the NALAC is not a constitutional body. What country are we? I mean, let's make NALAC a constitutional body. Let's make NALAC a second chamber to carry out or perform certain duties, which will positively influence the people at the local level. We can expand the college that elects DCs and MCs. We can include chiefs and other people. So we have a true representation of the people at the local level. Because the cardinal principle of having a second chamber is having a true representation of the people. So it's either we go by the National House of Chiefs or the NALAC, the MCs and the DCs, the MMDs. This will go a long way to help us as a nation. Mr. President, with very little empowerment, MCs and DCs put together as MMDCs can be a second chamber. A chamber that can make uniform laws and discuss common issues for various assemblies in Ghana. Which programs and projects to be taken in less endowed towns or districts can be planned by this chamber. We can also have better or good checks and balances when we have a second chamber. This should be the concept of having a second chamber. As it stands, the Council of State can only offer you moral advice, which is not binding on you. And even if the Council of State wants to propose amendment to a bill or consider a bill passed by Parliament, it can only be so if you request as a president. Something must be done, Mr. President. Mr. President, we keep saying that Ghana has been independent for 64 years. But the critical question to ask is, are we truly a democracy or independent? Are we truly a democracy or independent as we tell the world? Mr. President, if you know that if democracy is a basket, or if democracy is water, if democracy is water, then Ghana has been fetching water with a basket. We have spent years as a nation fetching water with this with a basket. Our democracy is not a pure one. Power and freedom has been taken away from the people by certain provisions of the Constitution. Some of the laws as we have now enslave us. And it will take somebody like you, a fine lawyer, a good president like you, an astute lawyer, to help us break that yoke of slavery. Mr. President, take a lead role and let's have a true democracy. Because some provisions are affront to Ghana's democracy. Mr. President, your government should be remembered and must be remembered for some of these things. We need to review certain laws and provisions of the Constitution. Mr. President, help give power to the people. Help liberate the people of Ghana. It appears to me that some of these provisions were only made for somebody who ruled as a military man. As it stands, some of these provisions only make you a dictator. Ghanaians know you as an astute lawyer, a very fine lawyer. And our last hope is somebody like you who can review the Constitution, can amend certain laws that enslave us. I do remember on the 29th of August 2013, your speech inspired most of us. In fact, the youth of Ghana were inspired by your speech on the 29th of August 2013. In quote, as I said earlier, whilst I disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict, so we can all move on in the interest of our nation. Everything in my bones, in my upbringing, and in what I have done with my life thus far makes it imperative that I accept a decision made by the highest court of the land. However, much as I dislike or disagree with it, this is a patriotic Ghanaian speaking. This is a man that believes in Ghana. Today, the man is the incumbent president of Ghana. You are in charge, Mr. President. If there is anything that you've done with your bone and in your upbringing, and whatever you've done with your life, it is the law. And governance is about the rule of law. If we have a true rule of law as a nation, then that constitution has to be reviewed. It has to be checked once again. Let's have a second chamber, Mr. President. Let's practice true democracy. A democracy that gives power and freedom to the people. Mr. President, you cannot fail us this time around. If your predecessors failed, if those that came to rule failed us, or if they ignored to act on some of these matters, we know that you cannot fail us as a people. Mr. President, a second chamber is a way to go. A true democracy is a way to go. Politicians have taken advantage of the system for quite a long time. It's been long, Mr. President. And this happened because we have diversity of voices, Mr. President. We've not had a final voice. But today, on this show, Mr. President, this is the final voice. Thank you for watching me today, Mr. President, and next time. Dear viewer, thank you for joining us today. And please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video. And stay tuned to Final Voice next time. Thank you.